Alright, so this is attempt number 3 at recording this video. I did it once before. I didn't really like the way it came out. And then I just did it again a couple days ago, but the quality came out bad for some reason. So I'm re-recording now. I'm pretty sure it's on the HD setting. And so, just put the camera there. So your uke is going to be in standard tuning, G, C, E, A. And I'm going to refer to the strings as the letter assigned to it. So if I say pluck the A string, you're going to do that. And same thing goes with all the other strings. So this song starts on an F chord. You're just going to strum through the F chord however you want. Then you're going to play the A string and the E string. Alright. Then you're going to reach over with your pinky and play the 5th fret of the A string. I recommend using your pinky for this because it makes it easier to transition to the next chord. Then you're going to play an F7 chord. This is kind of like your F chord. It's a little tricky to play. You're going to form that same F chord, but then you're going to put your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the C string and your pinky on the 3rd fret of the A string. And strum through once. So far we have this. Then you're going to lift up that pinky and play the open A string, nothing on it. And this is a B flat major 7 chord. It's the 1st fret of the E string, 2nd fret of the C string, 3rd fret of the C string, and the A string remains open. So far we have this. Then you're going to play the C string. And this is a B flat minor chord. This is a little hard to play. You just bar the 1st fret and then put your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the G string. This one takes a little practice. Alright. Then you're going to go back to your F chord. You're going to strum through that F chord and then you're going to play the 3rd fret of the E string and then up the 5th fret of the E string, sorry. Then you're going to play this chord. This is a G7 chord technically. It's just higher up on the neck. You bar the 5th fret all the way down. I don't play the G string at all on this one. And then you're going to use your ring finger or any finger you want to play the 7th fret of the E string. Then you're going to play the 7th fret of the A string, 8th fret of the A string, and then the 3rd fret of the A string. So far we have this. Alright. Then you're going to play a B flat chord. I don't use the G string at all on this, so you don't have to worry about getting that 3rd fret on the G string. You're going to strum through the C, E, and A individually. So from this G7 chord. going to keep this bar that you're doing with your pointer finger. You see how you have this bar, and I just slide it up to the 8th fret, bar on the bottom 2 strings on the 8th fret, and then leave the C string open and strum through that. Alright, so far all together we have this. And then you're going to play the E string and the C string. And then this part essentially repeats again, just with a little bit of variation. So you're going to go back to that F chord, play the 2 strings there. Now this time when you get to this B flat minor chord, you're going to have to use your pinky probably to play the 3rd fret of the C string. Alright, and then you're going to go to the F chord again, that G7, and then this is where it changes. It goes into a key change. So after you hit that 3rd fret of the A string, you're going to do 1st fret of the C string, 4th fret of the E string, and then 6th fret of the A string. And you're going to bar the 8th fret all the way, and then put your middle finger on the 9th fret of the E string. This is a C sharp chord, or D flat. So after you strum through the chord, you're going to play the C string and the E string. You're going to go to the 3rd fret of the C string, 6th fret of the E string, and 8th fret of the A string. And then that same shape they use to play the C sharp or D sharp, or D flat, you're going to play this chord. You're going to bar the 10th fret and then middle finger on the 11th fret of the E string, sorry. And you're going to play, strum through, and play the C string and the E string. Alright, so far we have this. Then you're going to play that part again. Then you're going to go to this chord. This is a D sharp 7 suspended 4. It's a weird chord. You don't really see it often. You're going to bar the 3rd fret, and then you can play this a couple different ways actually. I just use my ring finger to bar the bottom 2 strings on the 4th fret there. You can also just use your fingers like this formation, or like that, but I just like playing it like this. And then again, C string, E string. It's like a common theme throughout this. So far we have this. This is, I forgot what, hold on. What chord is this? Alright, G sharp major 7. Alright. So, you're gonna play this G sharp major 7 chord. You can play this a couple different ways. So, the hardest way to play it, but the best sounding way, is to play the first fret of the G string, and then use your ring finger, or these 3 fingers, to play the 3rd fret of the bottom 3 strings. So, but you can just get away with playing the bottom 3 strings on their own. And then play the C string on that after you strum through. So, back from the top of this little key change section. Now this is kind of like an F chord if you think about it. It's the first fret of the E string, and then you're just hitting that 3rd fret of the A string there, which is a C note, which is the same thing as the open C. And I don't really play the G string on here, it doesn't matter. Alright, so you're going to go into this riff section now. It sounds like this. Alright, you're going to play the 3rd fret of the E string, and you're going to slide up to the 5th fret of the E string. Then 5th fret of the A string, 3rd fret of the A string. Open A string, 1st fret of the E string, 2nd fret of the C string. So again, 3rd fret up to the 5th fret, then slide from the 2nd fret of the E string to the 3rd fret of the E string. Alright. Alright, so now the song goes into this little break. You kind of pause for a second. And then meanwhile you can get ready, put your any finger you want on the 5th fret of the C string. And you're going to play the open A string, and then the 5th fret of the C string. Then you're going to play the 5th fret of the A string and 6th fret of the E string and open C string. Don't worry about the G string. And this is going to be again an F chord, but your pinky or ring finger, whichever one you want, on the 3rd fret of the C string. And then play the E string twice. Fifth fret of the A string. And then you're going to go back to that F chord and play the C, E, and A string individually. And you're going to play this 8th fret of the A string, 7th fret of the A string, 5th fret of the A string, and back to that chord, playing the E string twice. So from the top we have alright, so it's going to be that F, do those individually, this little riff, back to the F. Alright, then after you do that, so that F part repeats, so after you do that, you're going to do that same riff again. This time, go to, this is technically an A chord. You're going to play the 7th fret of the A string, 9th fret of the E string, 9th fret of the C string, yeah. So we have after you strum through that A chord, you're going to play the C string twice. Fourth fret of the A string. I forgot what this chord is called. You're essentially barring the 2nd fret. Alright, don't worry about the G string on this chord. And then get that pinky or ring finger if you can reach on the 5th fret of the E string. So we have alright. Then you're gonna form this little shape here. It's 4th fret of the E string and 5th fret of the C string. You're gonna pluck these two together. Then you're gonna get that pinky to play the 5th fret of the E string. Then play the 2nd fret of the A string. Alright, so we have then you're going to form, it's kind of like an E minor shape. 4th fret of the A string, 5th fret of the E string, 6th fret of the C string. And then you're going to play with your pinky the 7th fret of the A string. So we have so this is a cool chord. This is a G chord here. You're going to bar the 7th fret all the way through. And then normally you would put your pinky on the 10th fret, but you're actually going to slide it up to the 12th fret. This is a little bit of a stretch, but I mean, you know, you just get that sound you can't really get. Alright, it's a little bit of a stretch. We have and you're going to strum through that. Don't so much like play like that, but like strum through each one individually but closely together, if that makes sense. Alright, so from this little section we have Then you're going to play an A chord. And then play the C and E. Then that B flat major 7 chord again. I don't really play the G string on here, so it doesn't really matter. Alright. Then you're going to play that riff that I showed you earlier, the and then the song actually kind of ends here, but I like to resolve back to that F chord, back where you started. Alright, so that's the play along. I slowed it down obviously a bit. If you want to hear the full speed, you know, go back to the first video and try to play along to that. Because it's like... Alright, so it's a little bit faster. Alright, so that basically concludes the tutorial. I hope I explained that right. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments and I'll answer them. I'm sorry I couldn't get this video out earlier. I wasn't even really busy, to be honest. I was just lazy, didn't feel like doing it because it's a lot of work. But there you have it. You have the whole thing. I did actually just get the game, and it turns out you have to unlock the hourly music. And so I'm looking forward to that because once I hear the music and, you know, I get a feel for it and see which ones I like, I could do tutorials on them if you want to hear those. So yeah, so thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Like the video, share it, you know, do all that. And I'll see you whenever I upload my next video, which I don't know when that's going to be, but see ya.